major snowstorm hitting parts of the country right now. It's a potentially historic event.
I got to tell you, I've never seen anything like this. We woke up today to about another foot of snow here in Buffalo.
The last 2 years brought a surprisingly cold and snowy winter season to North America. Certain states suffered more than others, especially Texas, where people were caught off guard by 2 consecutive bitterly cold winters. Matters were aggravated by the February 2021 North American winter storm, unofficially called Viola. This year will probably not be any different. Meteorologists and weather forecast channels all around the continent have warned people that this year's winter is going to be as difficult as the previous one. They have warned people to be ready for some miserable weather conditions. The winter season in North America during the previous year was record-breaking with 2 individual tornado outbreaks. The 2021-22 North American winter was not as bad as the one before it, but that doesn't mean some notable and significant events didn't occur during this period. The 2 tornado outbreaks hit the continent in mid-December. After that, a significant winter storm struck the south in mid-January. And that wasn't all. A powerful blizzard also impacted the northeast coast at the end of January. February brought with it a wide-ranging, significant winter storm that affected almost all of the eastern half of the country. Other important events included a late-season winter storm in March that affected the Appalachian Mountains and a major blizzard that struck North and South Dakota in mid-April. 4 storms were ranked on the Regional Snowfall Index during the 21-22 winter season, but none of these actually attained the major category. A developing La Niña was expected to influence the weather patterns across the continent like the previous winter. For those of you hearing this term for the first time, La Niña is an oceanic and atmospheric phenomenon that is the colder counterpart of El Niño as part of the broader El Niño Southern Oscillation climate pattern. The name originated from Spanish for the girl. By analogy, El Niño means the boy. During the La Niña period, sea surface temperature across the east and equatorial part of the Central Pacific Ocean will be lower than normal by 3 to 5 degrees Celsius. La Niña's appearance usually persists for more than 5 months. Both El Niño and La Niña are indicators of weather change across the globe. La Niña is a complex weather pattern and occurs every few years due to the strong winds blowing warm water at the ocean's surface away from South America across the Pacific towards Indonesia. The 21-22 winter season began with the formation of a significant winter storm in the western United States on October 12th. This resulted in heavy snow accumulations of around 71 centimeters across most of the Intermountain West and more than 80 rescues due to the blizzard-like conditions in Utah. This system alone caused around $50 million in damage. This was followed by a 1-month break in the winter weather caused by the unfavorable conditions for winter storms, but soon enough a blizzard began to develop across south-central Canada and the upper Midwest on the 11th of November. The month of December 2021 was surprisingly a record warm month across the lower 48. 10 states including Texas, New Mexico, Louisiana, Alabama, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Mississippi, Kansas, Missouri, and Nebraska saw record warm temperatures in December. However, in early to mid-December, a major system led to the production of a historic tornado outbreak along with wintry weather, particularly across the upper Midwest. This was followed by another powerful storm that produced an even bigger tornado outbreak with strong winds across the high plains only a few days after the first one. The storm was classified as a Category 3 atmospheric river event and caused heavy rain and snowfall in the western United States. During the storm, more than 20 centimeters of rain was recorded on Mount Tamalpais, a mountain located in the San Francisco Bay Area. San Francisco itself received almost 2 inches of rain from this event. Around 150 centimeters of snow was recorded in Pinecrest, California. This storm caused a stateside snowpack in California to increase from 19% of normal to 83% of normal. From late December to early January, a series of winter storms caused a cold snap and heavy snowfall in parts of the West Coast, especially in the areas in the Pacific Northwest region. Numerous weather stations recorded record-breaking low temperatures on December 26th and 27th, particularly in Washington. Seattle recorded 23 centimeters of snow in December. This was more than the normal winter average of the city. Some parts of the region even had more than 30 centimeters. On January 6th, another storm caused the closure of multiple mountain passes in the Cascade Range. This left only the one east-west route across Washington. Multiple additional snow events occurred throughout January 2022, with below-average temperatures being common. One such storm was the significant winter storm that occurred in the eastern half of the country in mid-January with snow and ice. It led Georgia, Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina to declare a state of emergency in preparation for the storm. The most significant event, however, occurred at the end of January. It was a major blizzard that hit the northeastern United States on January 28th and 29th. This one brought around 2.5 to 7.6 centimeters across a swathe of New England, but its impacts were pretty widespread. Blizzard conditions were confirmed at multiple locations, including Providence, Boston, and Worcester. In early February, another major winter storm affected North America and caused snowfall in areas as far south as Texas to as far north as Maine. However, this one was not as bad as the previous year's storm that basically crippled the power grid of the state. The rest of February saw some minor wintry events besides the few concentrated snowstorms in a few areas, particularly in the northeast. But activity once again increased in mid-March when a significant winter strongly affected a wide range of areas from Louisiana to Maine. This one also brought about 15 to 46 centimeters of snow. In mid-April, another major blizzard struck Dakota and dropped about 100 centimeters of snow, which was quite unusual for this late in the season. The last significant event of the previous winter occurred in late May when a record late snowstorm hit Colorado only a few days after the temperature reached 32 degrees Celsius. With the last winter season being unusually eventful, people are gearing up for the 22 to 23 winter as it is just around the corner, and experts have warned that it will be a difficult one. The official winter will begin on December 21st, but several organizations have already shared their nationwide forecasts. Among the outlooks issued by meteorologists, most agree that the southern United States will see a drier and warmer than normal winter. The best chance of colder and stormier conditions is in the northern tier, Midwest, and Ohio Valley. These conditions reflect the typical conditions that develop during the La Niña events. This year, La Niña is forecast to prevail for the third consecutive winter. Some are calling this season a tale of two winters because meteorologists believe that the weather this winter will split the country in two. This will be the most memorable winter for some and the most miserable one for others. One half of the country will deal with the bone-chilling cold and loads of snow, while the other half might not even feel like it's winter. For the first 3 months, the winter-like conditions will begin in earnest. The recent solar cycle 24 had the lowest level of solar activity in almost a century. We've now reached the early phase of cycle 25, which is expected to peak around July 2025 and caused diminished activity. This means cooler temperatures will be observed across Earth on average. Most of the US might be colder than normal this winter. For most of the western half of the US, the winter will be wet and mild with lots of heavy rain. In a stark contrast to what awaits the rest of the country, winter temperatures will be milder than normal across eastern Maine, from the Rockies to the west coast, and across Alaska and Hawaii. However, precipitation will be above normal from Maine to southeastern Virginia, in Florida, and in Missouri. Winter for most of the Midwest and along the East Coast will be shivery and snowy. Experts have warned the eastern half of the US to brace for a potentially record-breaking cold season. The Deep South and Texas could see temperatures as low as negative 13 degrees Celsius. Temperatures will be colder than normal across most of the country between the East Coast and the Rockies. There will be much more snowfall than normal from central New England through North Carolina, from the lower Great Lakes and the Ohio-Tennessee valleys in the southern plains, from the northern plains into eastern Washington, and across the higher terrain of the southern Rockies and California. The freezing temperatures are sure to bring above average snowfall totals in most areas of the eastern United States. Based on the meteorological definition, winter this year will begin on 1st of December and last till the 28th of February. However, winter storms are predicted to occur outside of these limits. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's Climate Prediction Center released its outlook for the approaching winter in North America. According to them, temperatures were favored to remain below normal in the Pacific Northwest and the northern plains. The upper peninsula of Michigan was impacted by a minor early-season cold core low on October 17th. Some areas received 30 to 46 centimeters of snow and more than 30,000 customers lost power. Over the next few days, cold air reportedly moved south, breaking records in the Midwest and Deep South. Another winter storm on the back end of a tornado outbreak caused a 100-car pileup in Denver. The underwater Hunga Tonga volcano eruption that occurred early this year sent up a massive amount of water vapors into the atmosphere and even the stratosphere. So far, there isn't any research explaining the effects of this eruption on the global weather and climate, but some scientists have predicted that it could affect the winter season this year. According to them, the excess amount of water vapors in the atmosphere could produce more snow. AccuWeather senior meteorologist Paul Pastelok and his team said that this winter's setup is complicated by several factors, including the Hunga Tonga volcanic eruption. AccuWeather forecasters have predicted a more active severe thunderstorm season in the southeastern states because of the warmer-than-normal ocean temperatures. Pastelok also stated that the warmer ocean temperatures could help fuel a potentially big system that would affect the East Coast in the latter half of winter. There's no denying that there will be a lot of snow. Some parts of the US, like Nashville, don't see snow until December, while others, like the Rockies, can get snow as early as October. Surprisingly, a lot of places have already seen snow this year, which is a bit earlier than usual. So far, an intense lake-effect snowstorm in the Buffalo metropolitan area produced massive snow accumulations in mid-November. A state of emergency was declared for 11 counties in upstate New York. Hamburg recorded 86 centimeters of snow by 8 a.m. on November 18th, and by 2 p.m., this amount had increased to 94 centimeters. The same lake-effect stroke also hit some parts of Ohio with about 44 centimeters of snow in just 12 hours. In late November, a winter storm brought snow to the Rockies, Great Plains, and the upper Midwest. It formed on the 29th of November and also caused a tornado outbreak in the Deep South. The Minneapolis-St. Paul Airport reported around 21 centimeters of snow. This storm was unofficially named Winter Storm Beck by the Weather Channel. Currently, the late November, early December winter storm is affecting the Cascades and Rockies. Winter storm warnings have been issued in Montana, Idaho, Oregon, California, and Washington. This one has been unofficially named Winter Storm Carly. The winter outlook from a weather consulting firm called Weatherbell Analytics also supports the more snowfall prediction. The firm estimated that temperatures will remain normal to slightly below normal for almost all of the country between November 22 and March 2023. The lowest temperatures are expected in the Ohio Valley into the upper Midwest and are forecast to remain 1 to 3 degrees below normal. Weatherbell has predicted slightly above normal snowfall, 125% of the seasonal average in the Midwest through Ohio Valley and into the interior Northeast. It also calls for above normal snowfall towards the East Coast. On the other hand, the Farmer's Almanac expects the East Coast storm to bring rain, and chilly conditions will enter the region in January and can lead to wintry precipitation. According to them, the conditions in the upper Midwest will be glacial and there will be plenty of snow. They've also expressed hopes of a white Christmas. In mid-January, temperatures could drop as low as 40 degrees below zero in some parts of the region. The Farmer's Almanac also expects March to go out like a lion, with a variety of conditions like heavy snowfalls, heavy rain, and gusty thunderstorms. So, for half the people this winter, it will be colder than average and they will have to bear with tornado outbreaks and winter storms. But for the other half, things will be a little different, mostly dry and warmer than normal. The Old Farmer's Almanac has predicted that this winter will be frigid to say the least. The eastern half of the US should brace for a potentially record-breaking cold to define the season. In addition to temperatures plunging 8 degrees Fahrenheit below average, there will be more snowfall. Areas that can expect more inches of snow this year include North Carolina and central New England. And following the Atlantic hurricane season, more frequent storms are expected in the southeastern states. The West will experience dry conditions this winter, which might exacerbate the drought pockets. The rain and snow track has already shifted north, leaving parts of California, Nevada, and much of the Southwest incredibly dry. And thinking about the winter about to strike the continent with full force, it is necessary to remember that circumstances are dynamic and the research is constantly ongoing. But the regions that have received a lot of snow and storms in the last 2 years should expect the same, if not more. Planning ahead and preparing for the winter storms, blizzards, and tornado outbreaks will help the residents of those areas. At the very least, they should weatherproof their homes and cars and keep proper emergency supplies on hand in case of a severe event. Staying up to date with the weather forecasts of their areas will also be a great help, as it will give them time to make arrangements for any such event. It's never a bad idea to prepare for the worst while hoping for the best.